Hello guys, my name's Daniel Ramsey. I'd like to make some videos about my experience in Driveaway, no-tow Driveaway. I've just recently got started on it, so I'm a brand new newbie beginner and thought I'd do a little video blog as I go along and learn this new industry. So what I did first is I called up a company called Horizon Transport. I decided to start off with them and see how they are. And so I got a few words I can say about my time with them and the orientation, the 2-day orientation I went to up in Indiana. It was a pretty good orientation, I guess, definitely for somebody that hasn't even been in the industry, so I had a lot to learn. So I would definitely advise to take notes. I just sat there and thought I'd listen, thought I knew enough about trucking that I didn't have to take notes, but I sure wish I did take notes because I've been out of the business a while and I'm not real familiar with all these new apps. Everything's got to be done on your phone. Everything's got to be done with an app. So I really wish I would have took better notes. As far as Horizon, some improvements they can make is spend more time orientating and a lot less time telling war stories. And it seemed like every slide we went through, we had to listen to everybody's discussion about what they seen on the road. Don't really care a whole lot what they seen on the road. I come up there to learn the business, and it seems like I may have walked away with a little more knowledge about the app and how to do the loads if we spent a lot less time talking about all the stories and everything. Other than that, it was a great orientation. Everybody I met up there in the compliance department and the recruiting department, everybody was very nice. Few phone calls I made up to the settlement department has been very pleasant. Everybody seemed to be very pleasant to talk to. Like I said, it was a 2-day. I showed up on a Monday morning at 8 o'clock. First thing we did, the Driveaways did, was to do road test. Wasn't no real big sweat on that. We jumped in a little mini bus and drove around. Everyone's took a turn, drive around, making some stops, making some turns, and checking us off and checking our equipment. I guess that would bring me into the next thing I had on my list here was the equipment needed. When you lease on with Horizon, you may need things that other Driveaway, because they're in the RV industry, may be a little different from other industries, but they'll send you an email with a list of everything you need. Some of the things that you will need is a dashboard camera. And getting into it, I wasn't really sure, how long am I going to do this? How much money am I going to make? There was a lot of questions. So basically what I did was I just went the cheapest possible. I looked, I found the cheapest camera that I felt like would actually work. There were some cheaper cameras, but so I've got the little, I guess I could have looked this up. What I do is I do have an affiliate account with Amazon, so I will leave links to the things that I bought. I'm not, like I said, I'm not advertising these as great quality, top-notch quality things. Like I said, they had good reviews and they are doing the job and they were cheap. I think it was like 30-something bucks or something. So, like I said, I was trying to get into it. I didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money getting into it because I had no idea, if this no-tow Driveaway would even make any money. So there's a dash cam. You're required to have a dash cam when you're running on a load. Another thing you need is a easy pass transponder. If you want to get reimbursed for your tows, you need to have this, and don't do what I did, wait till I got my first load to call and have it activated, because it takes up to 72 hours to activate. So order this about a week in advance, get it activated so to be ready, because as soon as you go through your 2-day orientation, on your second day, at the end of your second day, they will dispatch you right there in the orientation room. Leads me to another thing when the dispatcher walks in the room and says, "Hey, who wants to go first?" Anyway, hopefully everything's working again. I held up my hand to volunteer to go first, and my hand motion told my camera to stop recording. So anyway, what you need to do is raise your hand and go first, because guess what? If you go last, everybody else is going to get the best load. So don't hesitate to go first on the dispatch. But we were talking about the transponder. You need a transponder to be in working condition when you take off with that first load, because when you leave Indiana, you have got about a 75% chance you are going across some toll roads trying to get out of Indiana. Because if you go east, west, north, about the only way you can get away from a toll road is to go directly south. That's the only way you can go. So if you're going anywhere, you're going to cross over a toll road trying to get out of Indiana. The next thing they want you to have is a printer. Now you can spend $300-400 on the high dollar, fancy, the best 5-star, most recommended printers. But if you're like me, all I wanted was to get into it as cheap as possible. So I paid about $70-80 for this little thermal Bluetooth printer. And another thing, if you're into no-tow Driveaway like me, you're very tight on space, room. I got a little carry-on suitcase that I want to carry on the airplane, so I cannot carry a big old gigantic printer. So this was the smallest printer. It's got a little roll of paper inside it, and it's got a penny sticking in it. I don't know where that comes from, but anyway. So this about $70-80. I'll put a link into it, and it may be I may have to pin a comment with the links in a comment below. I may not be able to put the link in the description, so look in the comment section if you'd like to see this. This is just, and so far, at the time that I'm recording this introductory, I've already hauled 2 loads, and I'm going to break those down into 2 videos of each vehicle that I drove. But so far, I have not used it yet. Out of 2 loads, I've not used this printer yet. Because if you're loading at one of the Horizon yards, the mini Horizon yards, they have a little kiosk that you can print your paperwork out on. So the 2 loads I've hauled so far, I've hauled from Horizon Yard, so I was able to just walk in there and print all my paperwork right there at the yard, so I haven't needed that. This is probably more for if you picking up a load off what they call the outbound load board, whatever, the other load board that's not coming out of Indiana. They've got loads all over the place. As a matter of fact, I've talked to some drivers that say they never even come to Indiana. And I've looked at them. They got some great loads that's just from all over the place. I haven't used that board yet myself, but it does look like it's going to be a good board and a useful board. So that's 3 items and there's one more item. And this is where all the other Driveaway companies and other Driveaway people on the Facebook forums freak out when I talk about, because the RV industry, unlike the truck industry requires you to have triangles. The RV industry does not require triangles in RVs, but when you're driving your RV, it's a commercial vehicle because you're delivering it. So you've got to carry this big old gigantic box of DOT triangles. Try to get this on an airplane. Well, I have. I've already flown probably at least 8 legs on the plane with this in my carry-on bag. And yes, you get stopped and inspected at every TSA checkpoint. You will get inspected. And they will open your bag and they will see this. And they'll say, wow, I've never seen that before. So anyway, I've had no trouble. They say it's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's legal to put that in your carry-on. Just hope they don't ever weigh your carry-on. I went through a United flight, and they actually had a little cart thing where you're supposed to stick your carry-on in there to measure it and weigh it. And I had a little American tag, valet tag already on it, and he seen that valet tag and he thought I'd already had it checked. So I got to walk right by it. So I was lucky there, because it is heavy. It causes my carry-on to be very heavy, but every flight I take, they always valet it at the door. If you phone, you probably know what I'm talking about. So it don't really matter anyway. I've never had to pick it up and put it into the carry-on space on the plane, overhead storage on the plane. So those are the items that you're required to carry by Horizon. What else did I have? The printer, the Easy Pass, the triangles. So on my first load at this point in time, now remember, this is my first. I'm not experienced at I'm not a content creator. I'm just vlogging my experience in the Driveaway industry. And, just giving it a try. Giving the Driveaway a try, giving the blogging a try. I'm not a YouTube superstar and don't ever expect to be. But I did a little bit of video on my first load. It was a little bus. So I'll show that video now. Have a little patience with me. I'm still learning how to angle and video and stuff like that. So it looks horrible. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and show that now. And then when that's over, I'll come back and I'll go over the pricing, what that load paid, and what it cost me to deliver it, and if I made any money or not. So just hold on a second and I'll be right back. So I got here a little early this morning. Orientation starts at 8 o'clock. And it is 7:18, 7:30, something like that. It's still dark outside because we just had our time change this weekend, so that's why it's dark. So why did I choose Horizon to be my first Driveaway? I just pulled a name out of the hat. I just figured RVs would be easy. It'd be a good way to get started. Driveaway, we can hire on to 2 or 3 different companies, so I figured I would start with Horizon, doing something easy, and then pick out another company later on as I got the feel for it. So Horizon mainly deals with RVs right here in the Elkhart, Indiana area. We deliver RVs out and then just usually come back and get another RV and go out. So I'm doing no-tow Driveaway, which is I'll get the RV, drive it to its destination, and then I'm responsible for getting back home or getting back to Elkhart to get another load. So that'll be taking a plane, train, or bus, or whatever it takes. I packed up for the job. Maybe later on I can go over the things of how I packed and got ready to make these moves. Different ways that we find our way around. Of course, I'm new at this, so people can comment and give me some ideas also. Looking forward to sharing this journey with everyone from the ground zero. I'm new at this. I've got a lot to learn, so we can learn together. Alright guys, so orientation went well. I've got my first load here. Got me a bus going up to anyway, going somewhere in Minnesota. So there you go. Things got hectic. I wanted to show a lot more about the orientation and everything, but it was go, and everything went great through orientation. People over at Horizon was really nice and very helpful, and I got this loaded, and I had some people help shuttle me around. That's why I didn't really have time to stop and do a lot of videoing, because I had people helping me out getting started. So
hopefully in the future I'll be able to get a lot more of the process. And comment below if you have any questions about Horizon or have any questions about the orientation. I kind of got used to, I've got to get used to carrying the video camera and doing a little better job of videoing. But first time Driveaway, I've got a lot to learn myself, so that's what we're up to. I'll give you a little update later on down the road somewhere.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of bee footage I had there on the little bus that I hauled. I know I would have liked to, and in the future, I hope I do a lot better on the video and picking up the units, doing the inspections and stuff. But I was very nervous. I'll be honest with you. I was nervous trying to look at the VIN numbers, make sure I'd done my paperwork right for the very first time. And it just did not dawn on me to try to video any more than I videoed. So as we pick up a few more loads, hopefully I'll get a little better at that. But let's go over that load. I picked it up there in Wakarusa, Indiana. It's taking me a long time to figure out how to pronounce that. Wakarusa. I think I'm doing it right now, but it's the actually the yard that we did our road test on during our orientation. Picked up this little bus there at Wakarusa and took it over to Monticello, Minnesota. It paid 99 cents a mile. Now, the one thing I didn't write down that I'll start writing down, my gross pay on that was $5.46. Now, they held out I think a $20 charge that pays the yard man to bring it over and drop it. And then also they hold out 10% until you have your escrow built up. I believe my escrow's got to be $1,500. So they will hold out 10% of every load until I get that escrow built up, damage waiver, whatever you want to call it. Back in the day, we called it escrow. But let's see. So after the drop fee and the escrow, my pay was $546.43. Now, it cost me to drive from Wakarusa to Monticello in gas. It cost me $146.09. Now, this is something you can or can't do. Now, I did not count my hotel rooms while I was during orientation. I stayed there at the Comfort Inn for three nights at the Comfort Inn during the orientation. I'm not counting that towards my first load because that was just what I did for the orientation. So I got up that Wednesday morning after being there Sunday night, Monday night, and Tuesday night. I got up Wednesday morning and took my load. I could have went and loaded Wednesday morning, but I loaded Tuesday night. I went and got my load Tuesday night, but I'm not counting that hotel room because I could have just done it Wednesday morning. It would have been the same thing. So let's just say I left Elkhart Wednesday morning, headed to Monticello, and I drove to Monticello. Cost me $146.09 in gas. Now, when I got to Monticello, it was just a one-day drive. It took me all day, but it was a one-day drive. I got there that evening, but it was too late to deliver. I had to wait till the next morning to deliver. Now, if I was a trooper, if I was a real Driveaway driver, I would have just laid down on the floor and went to sleep. But I'm not. I'm a little sissy, and I had to have a hotel room. So I spent $77.41 at the Super 8 motel that was right across the street from where I was delivering. So it was very convenient. Another thing that was convenient about the Super 8 motel was that was the pickup place for a shuttle company that drives through making pickups going to the airport. So I was able to stay the night. I got up, I was over there at 7 a.m. I delivered the load at 7 a.m. And then I walked back to the Super 8. And I got all my bags together because I was supposed to catch the bus going to the airport. I caught the bus going to the airport. That shuttle cost me $54.75. I was probably 35 miles so that was probably cheaper than an Uber. I would think the Uber would have cost more. But I got on the bus for $54.75. Now, I messed up my toes. Like I said, I didn't get my Easy Pass registered quick enough. So I ended up paying $4 or $5 worth of toes out of my pocket. Okay, my camera shut down right as we were talking about toes. So if you keep up with your toes, they reimburse you for your toes. So I'm not even going to put toes on there. So I may have to back my edit up, whatever. So before the camera shut off on me, the load paid $546.43, $146.09 in gas, hotel $77.41, shuttle was $54.75. Now, I've got a deal on airplane flights where I'm flying standby. You can get into stuff like I see other people doing. Frontier and Spirit have programs that you can do standby. So these are standby flights. It cost me $20.48 for one leg and $15.45 for the second leg to get me home. So that paid me $232.25. So, you know, that's not too bad for just basically one day work. Now, I got a late start. What day was that? I said Wednesday, or was it? Yeah, Wednesday morning. I didn't leave. I had to get a rental car back to the rental place, back to the airport, back over. It was probably 10, 11 o'clock before I left. If I could have left earlier, I might have got over there, got it unloaded. That still wouldn't have got me reloaded. So I don't know. There's a lot of what ifs. Can you make $232 a day? Probably not. But it was $232 for a 7-8 hour drive over to Monticello. So that wasn't too bad money. I mean, that wasn't too bad. And everybody that I talked to on the Facebook groups that wish me well, you know, getting into it brand new and everything, they tell you, hey, the first week or two, you're probably going to lose money. Just consider that education, because you've got to learn how to move. You got to learn how to get from one spot to the other spot. You're going to not necessarily lose money, but you'll learn how to be more efficient about getting around and doing what you want to do. So that kind of concludes my first video, my orientation with Horizon. Now, Horizon does have one good thing I like. They have a great referral program. So if you watch my videos, and right now, I don't have anything against Horizon. I think they'll be a great company to have. Now, a lot of Driveaway have 2 or 3 companies they run for. I think Horizon so far, they seem really good. I've enjoyed talking to them. They seem like good people. And they have a referral program. So if you use my name, Daniel Ramsey, driver number 9981, if you put me down as referred, I get a few pennies a mile or something like that. I didn't catch how it was, but I get a little referral bonus. So I appreciate that. And I will continue to report back on these as I learn more about Driveaway, no-tow Driveaway, and things that make it better. I'll report back to you more about Horizon, more about the Horizon loads. Appreciate you watching. If you'd like to see more of these videos, hit that subscribe button and like button, and come back, notification button, so when I put on my video for my second load. I know I'm not no big fancy content creator. I'm not a public speaker. It's not going to be anything real big and fancy, but it'll be the truth about what's going on. Thank you for watching. See you next time.